Hi, and welcome to this episode of Filmi Ladies. I am Pitu, your host, and I'm joined by my co host Beth, my wonderful friend and fellow Filmi lady. And today we're so excited because we're going to talk about the recently released Mani Ratnam historical epic Ponniyin Selvan that we both just saw in the theater, and we have so much to say. So, Beth, tell me, what did you think about the movie, like overall? Did you have fun?
Yes, I had fun. I went with a friend who also loves Indian films, and we were both a little confused quite a bit of the time. I'm not sure that's the movie's fault whatsoever. Very dependent on subtitles. I have no idea if they were good, but I love a historical, epic, wackadoodle,
Adventure.
kind of film. Love it. Loved the textiles, loved the architecture most of all, the locations. By the time I finally got my brain around about a third of what was happening, I would say like I'm gonna really like I was impaired or something. I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch it again, and I can't wait for part two. And I'll just say that my friend didn't realize it was only a part one. So
Oh no.
there will be spoilers, by the way, in this
Oh,
discussion.
yes.
By the time
Many spoilers.
the ship capsizing, he turned to me, he's like, how are they going to make this end? And I'm like, they're not.
You were like cliffhanger.
It was great. What
It
did you
was so
think?
much fun. I had so much fun. It was very enjoyable. I went with a friend also, and I had to really stop myself from not like whispering during the movie because I very much wanted to. Like you, I was also a little confused because I did not grow up with this story at all. I have a lot of Tamil friends, and they said that this is such. So apparently, Ponniyin Selvan, it's the 1950 novel by Kalki Krishnamurti, and it's like a cult thing in Tamil Nadu, and entire generations of people are obsessed with it. And apparently people our age or younger are like, that's how they bonded with their grandparents,
Oh,
because they
cool.
were like, yeah, it's like almost considered like a rite of passage. Read it. I had none of this context going in.
Mm-mm.
I just enjoyed it as a good old fashioned epic adventure movie. And I just had a lot of fun. I was a little hesitant about the runtime because it was 2 hours and 50 minutes. And I was like, okay, is this going to be a slog? But it wasn't. So I felt like the pacing was good. And I love the fact
Yeah.
that they only had two songs. So it just kind of kept it moving. But it was complicated, to say the least. Um, what did you think about the acting?
Overall, I thought it very much suited what I understood the story to be about and doing. There's a lot of like glaring and shouting, which I'm all for. Again, palace intrigue, you got to do it. My favorite was Vikram because he was so angry and so emotional and like it was so great. And my friend kept going, "Who's angry, man?" So he was my favorite, but I thought everybody did great. I I am so sorry about not being able to pronounce any of these names. I am truly sorry. I'm completely ignorant of Tamil. So Boat Girl, it's just how the subtitles referred to her. I thought she was really
Yeah,
good.
just all about girl.
Girl, I thought she was quite good. Yeah, I felt like everyone kind of, as they say, understood the assignment,
Mhm.
gave it a really good, really good. How about you?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by all the acting. I thought Vikram was hot, first of all. I was like, who is this person? And then later on, I immediately jumped on Wikipedia and I was like, who is this Vikram person? And I discovered he's 56 and was like, what the heck, man? He does not look 56. He just acted so well. And I loved that scene where he's like, all upset because of Nandini, and he's telling us about like his broken heart and everything. And the camera kept shaking, and you kind of like were getting an idea about what's going on in his head. And then he suddenly broke into a dance, and it was like a military dance, but also it was like a broken-hearted dance. And I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm enjoying it.
That song was so good. I think that was my favorite part.
Actually, I also love that very first song, which I did not understand what was happening. It almost looked like an exorcism of some kind, but it was so cool and weird. And I was just like, again, I don't understand what's happening, but I'm in it. I am enjoying this. Please continue.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
was really do. Um, And then I love that actor, Karthi, who played, and I cannot pronounce these names either, so apologies in advance. My friend and I, my friend whom I went to the theater with, we just call him Wandering Man. Because we tried pronouncing the name he has. It's like Manathil something. And I gave up. And then my friend was like, I liked Wandering Man. And I was like, yes, correct. I also enjoyed him. He was so charming. And did you feel like he had a lot of chemistry with Aishwarya's character, with Nandini? I
Oh
felt
yeah.
like it, right?
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I could, if you told me that they were going to end up together, I would definitely believe you.
yeah, I
I
mean, he
have read a
definitely,
little bit about what happens in the novel slash in history. So I understand a few things that I may hope for aren't real. But I thought, yeah, you could pair him with anyone. And I would have, like, even his like little exchange with Boat Girl after she drops him off and she's like, tell the
yeah,
prince I like him. And he's like, gotcha. You know,
yeah.
like they would be
Yeah.
great together.
He had all that chemistry with Kundavai as well, Trisha Krishnan. Like she had a
Yeah.
little sparkle in her eye after her encounter with him. And then he also kind of sort of flirted a little bit with Vanati, played by Sobita Dulipala. So I got the impression he just like flirts with everybody that he sees.
He did say something about like I'm motivated by beauty, right? So
Yes,
he's
he did
clearly
say
a big old
that.
flirt.
But I just thought he was so like mischievous and charming and cute, but at the same time, such a good spy.
Yeah.
Also, I have gone to this might sound weird, but I've gone to many flower markets in Bombay, with my mom to buy flowers for like pujas and rituals and stuff. I've never met a flower seller who looked as good as that dude did.
Oh, he was so
He was all like
sweet.
muscly and good looking and gentlemanly. And I was like, okay, where are these people finding these flower sellers? Because they do not look like that at the flower market we go to. At our flower market, they just yell at us. And when we ask them if the flowers are fresh. Um, but all the acting was really good. How did you feel about that moment when Nandini and Kundavai came face to face?
It was pretty great. It was pretty
Yeah.
great. I like a showdown. I didn't fully understand what the issues are, and I still
Mm.
don't, but I'm okay with that. I trusted that there were issues.
Right. You were like, there is some bad blood and some history here. And it's like, this town ain't big
I mean,
enough
you were
for
just
these two
waiting for
bitches.
like a tight slap, right? But no slapping.
Exactly. I really enjoyed that. And I think it became a little bit clearer later when the older brother is complaining to Kundavai that basically the reason that he can't be with Nandini is thanks to her. And she's like, Nandini is an orphan. We don't even know where she's from. And she can't just like come and be the queen of the Chola dynasty. And so therefore, that's why she had to be sent away. So it does seem like both parties seem to feel like Kondavai is to blame for their
Yeah.
relationship not working out. But I enjoyed that. My favorite thing about the movie, and I will say this about Mani Ratnam in general, is that I love that his movies will always pass the Bechdel test. Um,
Mm.
he always has really good women characters. He always gives them really good roles. They're never props. I really enjoyed the fact that like I liked Nandini's role. I liked Kundavai. I didn't feel like Vanati had a lot to do, but it was nice to see like a sweet female friendship on screen. I loved Pungali, the boat girl. So I felt like all of them had very interesting things to do and things to say. And I do appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many people that it would have been hard in a way to fail the Bechdel test, but we've all seen films that fail the Bechdel test, even though there's 47 people in them. So, you know, thanks for putting some women in your film and giving them something
Yes.
interesting to do.
I did find, like, to your point about there being so many people, it did get confusing for me because there were so many times where I was like, hang on a second, who's this dude? Especially
Especially
when everyone's been like,
the uncle age, right? Like the uncles. And obviously at a
yeah,
certain point, it didn't really matter because you're like, oh, these are all like guys who are plotting to overthrow. They're all like nobles,
yeah,
whatever. And at some point, my stupid self was like, that's Prakash Raj. Like I didn't even recognize him at first. I know who he is. I know who Nasser is, but like I was so overwhelmed with with accessories and fashion and mustaches and all that, like my brain kind of went boop, and I just kind of was letting stuff wash over me in a way that I very much enjoy.
So speaking of accessories, I did read somewhere that one of the reasons this movie is so expensive. So apparently Mani Ratnam has already made PS2. He's just not going to release it until 2023, but it's already been shot because he said he thought it would be impossible to get all the dates of the actors and mount it again. So it's already like made. And one of the reasons that these two combined movies have a budget of 500 crores is because the jewelry in the film is real gold jewelry.
So my friend asked me that, and I was like, no, no way, because I didn't see a
You were like, it's plastic.
I didn't see a jeweler thanked. Right. And so usually there's like a special thanks to whoever, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We've all seen enough Indian films to see that. So because there was no sponsor, I was like, there's no way.
Oh, I did read that. I read in an interview of Mani Ratnam's that he said that all the jewelry in this film is real gold jewelry and it was made for the film. Like they specifically made it. I would have just asked for payment in the form of jewels. I'd be like, listen, I don't need a check. You can just give me all of Nandini's jewelry and we'll call it a day. Thanks. It was gorgeous, but I also really enjoyed the costumes, especially that turquoise number that Sobita Dhulipala wore. So pretty.
I loved her yellow one when they were on that kind of like boat room.
Yes.
Oh, that was so pretty. I don't know what any of those like sari styles or anything are called. I would look forward to being educated if anyone wishes to tell me, but I can also Google. But yeah, everything was stunning. I have a Tamil American friend who said I wanted to go home and like put on everything I own and walk around like a princess. And then she said, I put my hair up for half an hour and then realized it was too heavy.
Yes, I was thinking about that because they had all these like giant hair things, and I get a headache. I'm such a sad person, Beth. I get a headache if I put my hair in like a high ponytail. I went through a phase where I thought high ponytails would be my thing, and then I started getting headaches. And my friend was like, "You're a dum dum. You're getting headaches because of your high ponytail." And I was like, "Fine." So I don't know how they rock all those like headpieces, but. Go ahead.
There's just got to be a substrate under there, right? Like there's architect, especially under Trisha's big, like completely vertical thing. I was transfixed by that.
I was too. But you know, one thing I was thinking of, because I have this terrible habit of appreciating casting in a movie and still wanting to do my own hypothetical casting. I should have been a casting director. I always do this. Yeah. But you know who I thought in a different era, in a different time, would have been the perfect Nandini? Do you want to know?
Ooh.
Rekha. Right? I mean, you know, Rekha was born for that like femme fatale kind of role, and she's plotting and she's scheming and she's manipulating and she's looking fabulous while she's doing it. It has to be Rekha.
Why couldn't she be one of the queens anyway?
Because
so far the queens haven't had a whole lot to do, but maybe they will.
Yes. But I mean, because I'm sure you've seen Utsav, right? Yes, of course we have. And it's one of Shashi Kapoor's productions. Yeah. But because when I saw the way that Nandini's character was dressed and also some of the accessories and stuff, it did remind me of Utsav. And I was like, oh, my brain immediately went to, couldn't Rekha have done Nandini's role, in a different era? That would have been great. But I did enjoy Aishwarya's scheming and everything. What else was I going to say? I like the fact that there were only 2 songs, but I was underwhelmed by the music score because this is like 30 years of man.
What's going on? That I agree. It was not like it didn't. I mean, I would assume that sometimes the point of a background score is not to stand out, right? But just to do setting and things like that. But you do expect more from a film like this with these people. So I too was disappointed in now I was not as disappointed in the score as I was by Brahmastra, but so like it was okay, but it should have been more. This morning I was going back and watching some Vikram songs from other movies. I really like the movie I from 2015. Anyone else who's seen it, like, leave a comment. I love that crazy film, and Pitu, you have to watch it now that you're a Vikram fan. Not that I'm an expert, but that movie's great. And that has a Raman soundtrack, and it's It's so catchy. Like I haven't seen it in years. I was like, oh yeah, and like singing along and it with my, Tamil. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's super. So really the bar was high and I don't think that was the one disappointment
Yes.
really to me.
Disappointing. And I can't believe I'm saying this publicly, and I always shock myself every time I say this publicly. But one of my favorite scores, especially for like a period drama, is Ahsoka. And
Yes.
Ahsoka's music, yes, but Ahsoka's music is by Anu Malik.
Well, even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
I, this is the guy who ruined everybody's holy by giving us the song, Do Me a Favor, Let's Play Holy, Oof yeah holy, hi yeah holy. That guy gave us Ahsoka. So all I'm saying is I expected more from A.R. Rahman, especially because they kind of like hyped it up where it was like, it's Mani Ratnam and A.R. Rahman and Aishwarya Rai coming together again after so long. And so I was like excited. I was like, yes, the music is going to be great. It's going to be fabulous. I left the theater about an hour ago. I have already forgotten all the music. So I am kind of disappointed with that because I really feel like it needed like an epic score. Having said that, I love the choreography. Like all of that was very cool.
Yeah.
Did Vikram's dance remind you also of what is that song that Ranveer Singh had done in Bajirao Mastani?
Oh yeah.
And then there was also Ranveer Singh again as Khilji in Padmavat, and then he had that dance too. But I feel like Vikram's was the best.
Yeah, Vikram is, again, I don't know how he ranks as a dancer. To my untrained eyes, he's really, really good, especially because as we know, a lot of the buffer men can't move anymore. And he is buff, is 56 years old, and is dancing his heart out and doing a great job at doing this like
What is
angry,
the
heartbroken,
secret?
drunk song. Like he was so good.
Right. I want him to be like a model for like L'Oreal anti-aging or something because I was like, what is your secret? Tell
So
me.
you are going to be delighted to know that at least two of his films, he plays a supermodel.
Okay, that's great. He plays a supermodel though?
Yeah.
Are these supposed to be comedies?
You are asking the wrong person.
Of course, we all know that the best supermodel movie of all time is Zoolander. So
Oh,
we
it
don't know if
is.
anyone can top Derek Zoolander. As we know, moisture is the essence of youth and water is the essence of moisture. So great pearls of wisdom from
And
Derek Zoolander.
David Bowie, may he rest, will never judge another walk off. So really, this whole thing is like done.
Yeah, he was really good. There was one moment though where I had a little bit of like a bad flashback where I was like, oh no, is this gonna go all horribly wrong? It was the boat, when they were on the boat and there was like high sea adventure on the high seas and all of that happening. And then I got very, very bad memories of that movie that perhaps you have seen. If you haven't, you're lucky. Thugs of Hindustan.
Ooh, so I started that movie and I couldn't finish it. And I wanted
Oh,
to
you did?
because people I trust told me it was old school, like 70s masala, like I love. But
These people are not your friends, Beth.
I guess, and I have such a like Katrina Kaif and I are just like, no. But I did want to like it, but I forgot that had a boat.
When I saw the boat and I saw like the piratey people and then I saw the sails and then I saw the impending storm, I was like, oh no, we're not going to do Thugs of Hindustan, are we? Because if we are, I can't take it. So my cousins and I, because we're all crazy people, for a very short period of time, and you will understand why our club failed, we had a club where it was just a very masochistic club. The club involved, so it was me, Priya, and Paula. Paula, by the way, is the wonderful person who designed our logo. So shout out to Paula. So Priya, Paula, and I used to nominate a movie that all three of us then had to watch. And it was like a race to the bottom. There was a
Yes.
lot of there was a lot of sadism in our club. So it was kind of like, so my cousin forced us to watch Thugs of Hindustan. And I was like, I refuse to watch it. And she's like, it's the rule of the club. And I was like,
Ooh.
so our club didn't last long, but I did not have the option of exiting Thugs of Hindustan. I had to watch the whole thing because of said club. And it was like the worst time. It was so
Mm.
horrible. So I'm very glad that Ponniyin Selvan is not Thugs of Hindustan. However, how much are you willing to bet that Karan Johar or YRF or someone is going to try to remake this movie and destroy it in the process?
Yeah, I feel like that's entirely possible, but there's so many great ancient to medieval whatever stories to do, or just make
To
them up.
ruin by Karan Johar, you mean?
Just make them up, make up some new, new historical stuff. It's fine. I love things set in your is the best time period.
Right.
If you don't have to be specific, just do some stuff. Um, I feel like Keijo should be able to do a movie like this. He loves drama. He loves family mess. He loves broken relationships. I don't know. Violence in films is not really his thing, obviously. And this film is quite violent. Like I was
It
actually
is.
thinking of going to see Vikram Veda tomorrow, but I'm like, actually, you know what? I
Mm.
think I might have had enough for 1 week. um,
Yeah.
but especially because we got the trailers for Malajat and
Oh, yeah.
that new Pariniti Chopra movie whose name I can't remember. And those were both
Mm.
also just like nonstop pummeling in the trailer. So
Yes.
I might need a little bit of a break. But I do think that Keijo could do a movie like this, even if it's downscale, it downsize the violence and kind of up the family drama. I would absolutely watch him do a palace drama, you know? I mean,
So,
he does
did you
palace
hear?
dramas. That's what K3G is, but
Right,
it's
and
just
of course.
modern.
But there was that movie that he had announced, and they had cast a bunch of people for it. I think it was called
Yeah.
Takht.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of the casting was horrible. There was going to be Janvi Kapoor playing something important, and he lost me at that.
Yeah.
But the ridiculous part about that movie was it was going to be shot almost entirely in Venice. I was like, is it a movie about the Borgias? It was not. It was supposed to be a movie about the Mughals. So I was like, then why are you shooting in Venice? So I don't know, man.
Well,
But
they
he
have
shelved it.
domes too. I guess like Byzantine, Mughal, totally the same.
Let's just all mix it all together. We'll have Rani Mukherjee do like a little guest appearance wearing like a cute lehenga, shaking a leg with Amitabh. Why not? Um,
I mean, Kalank had its. I actually kind of liked that movie, but again,
no.
he kind of maybe gave it a whirl with that, and that was
Why
all
did you like it? Why did you like it,
because
Beth?
I like historical stuff, and I like Varandavan. So I was like suitably like enter- entertained.
He
Yeah,
looked good in that movie.
he did. I'm not going to say it was great. No one needs to rewatch it, but like it was fine for me. It was fine.
I remember I watched Kalank and I just saw it on TV. And I watched it, and then Amrita and I were WhatsApping each other. And then Amrita was like, that it was like so ridiculous that they had Alia Bhatt do like the big Kathak number in front of Madhuri. And then, of course, Madhuri doesn't dance with her because she's going to like eat Alia Bhatt alive. And I was like, yeah, I would
Yeah.
rather watch Madhuri. But yeah, that movie was terrible. Um, I'm I don't think I'm gonna see Vikram Veda actually because I've seen the original and I
Mm.
liked it. I mean, I didn't like love it, but I thought it was really good. And I love Hrithik Roshan and I kind of sort of like Seth sometimes. It
I love
depends.
Seth. Love
You
him.
do?
Hmm.
I love him in some movies. Like I love him in Omkara and Dil Chahta Hai and Kal Ho Na Ho. But then there's other movies where I'm kind of like, what are you doing? Um, so, but I always love Hrithik.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the original was so good. I mean, Vijay Sethupathi and Madhavan kind of killed it. So I was kind of
Mm.
like, do I need to watch this movie again? I mean, basically the same movie because it's going to be a frame by frame copy. So I was like,
Mm.
maybe not. Um, what else? Ooh, did you see that end coming? I must be a dum dum because I was very shocked that the lady with the gray hair at the end who swam underwater to ostensibly save Wandering Man and Crown Prince was Aishwarya Rai's face.
So I said to my friend, well, I should have seen that coming, and I did not.
Okay, so we're both dum dums because
I
my
mean,
friend
it was
had
clear,
assumed that to
it
be
was
the case.
clearly going to be a big reveal, but because there's so many people in this movie, and because I would not know most of the major Tamil actresses if I bumped into them on the street, I was ready for
Yeah.
it to be literally anyone, like Rekha, um, you know, anyone, right? Like
Dimple Kapadia riding a
Pooja, or
helicopter.
pull somebody back from, or like one of those grand old dames who, from the 60s that I don't know. It could have been Wahida Rahman, right? Like it could have been literally
Right.
anyone. And I would have been like, cool, they're on an elephant. They're an elephant whisperer and they can like do all these magical things. Love it. But this also works great. Can't wait to see
Yeah.
what happens.
So I Googled it, and because of course I did, and I discovered that that person is supposedly Aishwarya's mother in the movie. So
Right.
it's this lady called Mandakini, and she's Nandini's mom. So I was like, that's interesting. So does that mean we're gonna have like a face-off in PS2 where it's like Nandini's the antagonist and the mom is like the good person?
He absolutely has to include a lot more Vikram, I think, because I can't imagine they would have cast him for as little as he did
Yeah,
in part one. So I guess I would assume they're gonna focus on their love story with them as younger.
right.
But I don't know. I certainly don't know. When you were Googling, were you able to discern who is Nandini's father?
No.
Because I wondered if
Um,
that was the old man that Vikram, beheads in front of her. But then from my Googling, I thought, okay, that's not who that
oh, the
is. I don't know
Ponniyin
who that
rebel.
is. But okay. So on Wikipedia for the novel, there's
Yeah.
a huge family tree. And there's something about the way that they
Please
have
show our
that.
viewers your family tree. This is why I love you.
Oh, well, I
Show them
made
your
my
family.
own. I tried to make my own little family tree with just the people that I could remember. And then also, I just want to say, whoever did the Wikipedia plot summary for the movie, I thought was great because they were like, here are the three main things happening in this. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's only three. I thought there were 80. But the major ones, I was like, okay, check. I got that one. Check. I got that one. Okay, check. Because one of them was a
Yeah.
surprise to me. Like there was yet another kingdom attacking. I was like, oh, I didn't understand that. But
Right.
I didn't pay enough attention to the flags.
Yeah.
But there was something in the family tree on Wikipedia that made me wonder, is
Hmm.
Nandini's father the same father as the other three siblings? And that's why she would have been broken up, because it would have been incest.
Oh, I
But
did not
I'm
see
not
that
saying
coming.
that's true. That's just what I was trying to figure out from the family tree, because it doesn't really say in a way that I understood. So
This is like going into Jerry Springer territory, though.
yeah, I mean, I don't watch Game of Thrones because it's way too violent for me, but obviously Game of Thrones vibes, like all the ancient story of the Greek myths, like everybody's got incest. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we hold up as a don't do this. Um,
Interesting. I didn't know about that, but I did read that that king that the guy that they want to make the king, which is what that plot is, that guy is actually Nandini's twin brother. So I did get that.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
he is actually Nandini's twin brother.
Those
So
two
I'm
people
not
are not
sure.
twins. I know that we believe a lot of things are twins in Indian cinema where you're like, nope. But okay, I will get my brain around that.
This is like when I tell my dog and my cat who love each other very much that they're not actually biological siblings and I adopted them, and then they look at
Yeah.
me with disappointment.
No.
Um, but yeah, like I did not actually give birth to you. I'm so sorry. I picked you up from a shelter. Uh, okay, so are we excited for PS2?
Absolutely. My friend I saw it with, we're already planning, like, okay, on a Saturday, we will rewatch the first one to reacquaint ourselves,
Yes,
when we can pause and look things up if we need to. And then we will on Sunday get our tickets to see part two. Super
a
excited.
year from now.
Yeah. I don't, whenever it comes out, I will definitely be ready. And I remember, when Bahubali came out, we were all like, no, we have to wait so long. Like, I get distracted easily from things. So there are lots of other movies that will fill my time. But this does make me want to create a great list of, historical action, family drama things to watch. I've seen quite a few. I should rewatch Ashoka. Actually, I love that film.
Yes,
Um,
I love Ashoka.
so I know,
So
please,
good.
listeners, please tell us like your favorites from this kind of genre. Maybe we can make a big old playlist for everybody to share, because these movies are great. And especially here in North America where I live, it's going to be starting to get cold and dark soon. And this kind of movie for me is like perfect when you want to escape into the past, and the past that, okay, didn't really happen like that, but whatever. And you can imagine you're a cool palace person with beautiful clothes and having intrigue, and somehow you don't die, in your imagination. So that'll all be great. And this is good winter viewing for me. I'm excited.
Yes, this is true. Was there anything about PS1 that you did not like?
I think that my confusion, I did not like, and I don't blame the movie for that. So that's kind of user error. I should have looked at a plot summary, I think, before, given that I know absolutely no Tamil and I have seen, I'd say, fewer than 24 films. Like I don't have that kind of body of things, of references to draw on. Whereas if
Yeah.
this had been a Hindi film or even a Bengali film, I think there would have just been more things that I was familiar with and I wouldn't have been quite so lost. That's on me. That's not on the film, I don't think. I'd be interested if other people who were relying on the subtitles were as confused as I was. But so that's
I was
not the movie,
confused
that's
too,
me.
but that's me as well. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't have much familiarity with Tamil movies. The only Tamil movies I really know are like, the fare that a lot of people do like the Alepayate and the Kandukonde, which are like my comfort watches.
yeah,
And I'm really not that super familiar with Tamil history either. So I was
right.
very interested actually to read about the Chola Empire. And I was so bad in history in school. And I was really shocked to hear that they were like the longest reigning empire or something. And they were like all everywhere. I looked at the map and I kind of want to read up a little bit more about them. So that was
Absolutely.
really cool. But I had the same issue where there were so many people on screen, and then everyone was in historical costumes, and then at some points, oh, the other thing that my friend and I mentioned, where my friend said, where she was like, why won't they call the people by just their one name? Like you're calling this guy Kundavai's younger brother. Then you're saying the king's younger son. Then you're calling him Ponniyin Selvan. Then you're calling him Arun Mori. Just call him one thing. Don't give him like five different names, like AKA.
Did you ever read or watch Wolf Hall?
No.
So, set in the English 16th century. That's what I focused on in university. And I still cannot follow any of that because everyone has a first name and a last name and their place name. Like this is Thomas the whatever of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's Thomas and sometimes he's his surname and sometimes he's his place name. And you're like, you guys, and sometimes he's his title, like Chancellor of the whatever.
Oh,
You're like,
jeez.
I cannot. I'm sorry. I know it's accurate. I cannot. Please help
Just pick
me.
one name.
And
That's
that,
why my friend and I gave up. And we were like,
yeah,
older prince, younger prince, princess, queen, femme fatale, wandering man. Like we just called them by their roles, and then it just made life so much easy. Also, people, please, okay, whoever is a fan of this movie and this book, please don't kill me for saying this, but I called Mandakini's character Lady Gandalf.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. She did look like
Right?
Lady
Like she's
Gandalf. Yeah,
magical, and I just called her Lady Gandalf, and she was wearing white. So I was like, that's her. So
yeah.
yeah. But okay.
We know we are ignorant. We're trying to do better. And I will just say, the first time I watched Kalyug,
Mm,
the Shyam Benegal adaptation,
so good.
they put up a family tree in the beginning of that film because they know people need help. And I screenshotted it and I like looked at it every 5 minutes, 2 minutes, like for the first time I watched that film. And then I kind of got it. But like it really is a helpful thing. And like their versions of adaptations of editions of Wuthering Heights that have a family tree in the beginning. And there's only like 8 people in that. And I can't keep those people straight because it's so messed up. So it is a challenge for some of us. And when you don't know the actors, when you don't have that body of familiarity, you can't go, oh, that's Rishi Kapoor or whatever. Like I only recognized a handful of people, so I couldn't even rely on that. But again, that is me, not the film. Go see the
Right.
film, everybody. It's fantastic.
Yes, go see the movie and then comment. Let us know what you thought as well. Please don't yell at us for terrible pronunciations and everything.
We know.
But please like, yeah, we know it's terrible. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and we will see you next week with another episode. We're not 100% sure which episode we're going to upload for next week, but there will be something for you to see. But please comment, and thank you for watching our episode.